Hi there, welcome to Bottled Up Podcast. I'm Lou.
Hi, and I'm John.
And we've got a Q&A session here. We've got a few questions and we hope that you'll find them useful and keep those questions coming because it's lovely to hear from you. So this is from Ben. When things have improved a little with my drinker, I have a tendency to lose my nerve to talk about their progress. I don't want to remind her of the bad when she's trying to make progress. This is because she is deliberately sensitive about her condition, and she would cite me as dragging her back into a negative space. How can I approach this?
It's a difficult one, this, because you're trying to balance the needs of two people.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have a drinker who does not or cannot look backwards. Now, for whatever reason that might be, it may be the fact that it's not somebody who has not routinely been self-examining, who's not happy with self-examining, who is maybe even scared of what they might find.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's the needs of the partner who to say, well, I'm not quite sure how we got here, and if I'm not sure how we got here, then I'm not sure maybe will we stay here.
Yeah.
And by the way, where are we going anyway?
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult with those two needs.
So how would you approach it?
My own feeling is that, you start by looking forward and talking about forward planning. That way, maybe she will be a bit more comfortable.
A bit more articulate about what's going on in terms of what she sees ahead,
Yes.
which is getting her talking.
I might get some clues about what was there before, and maybe even get an opening to say, well, okay, if that's where we are, why, how, there may be an opening. I think the more you communicate, and the more you communicate about life, about the two of you and where you're going, then the more opportunities there might be to ask the questions that are absolutely burning in your head.
Yeah. I mean, we did highlight a little bit of this excuse me, we did highlight a little bit of this on our podcast about recovery, because you find two people who are in very, very different places.
Absolutely.
They have to learn to find each other again. And the drinker, once they stop drinking, they do get a little bit simplistic. I've stopped drinking, everything's fine. Let's just look at the positive bit and let's just go for it, which is really understandable. And I think at that point, like it or not, which is hard for the partner drinker to hear, because the focus has to be at this point on supporting your partner to do this magic thing we've always wanted, which is them to stop drinking. For a while, you kind of have to run with the rules that the newly sober person is making. But we know, as partners of drinkers, that that's not sustainable a long time. So it may be helpful just to say, look, I don't want to bring up anything negative, and I understand that. But it's also true that I will need to talk at some point about what's been going on for me if this relationship is to become close again. I'm happy not to do it now, but I'm not happy to do it never. So let's just concentrate on the positive at the moment, but let's find time up ahead for me to be able to talk as well. And I think both of those would be really important.
I think to some extent, again, when we talked about recovery, it was this focus on the drinker alone, rather than focus on the family. And recovery, I always believe, is about a family. It's not about a single person. And it's like throwing a stone into a pond. It's not just the entry point that's that the ripples up and they sort of spread out, and the family feels it. But the focus traditionally from society is about that person there, and therefore, if they're sober, everything's okay.
It's also true that the drinker has shut down all sensitivities to maintain their pursuit of the drink. And then there's a self-centeredness about the drinker that they have to grow out of. So I quite liked, I very much like the 12-step program, because it takes you by the hand and it actually causes you to take responsibility and grow up and everything else. And so if your drinkers down that path, they will get there. They will be led there by the people helping them to stop drinking. If not, be patient and wait your time. But quite agree, there comes a time when, if there's going to be any real re-establishing a relationship, there has to be a more healthy and honest dialogue.
I've seen a lovely picture of recovery and what we're talking about, and it's in the States, and it's a tornado, and you see these people emerging from the bunker. The house is just shattered, and they're getting up and saying, "Well, the tornado's passed. Everything's okay now." And I think, yes, exactly. I think maybe we need to do something now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, this is one from Sally. This is a really different thing. Yeah. I'm in a very good place currently. Would my partner's increasing attempts to undermine me be a response to the positive lifestyle changes I have made? He has never been the jealous type, but can alcohol dependency change his thinking? It has been very upsetting. I think we talk about this in the Bottled Up program, that it's very discombobulating when suddenly your partner stops looking at you, trying to get you to stop drinking, and then suddenly they start taking care of themselves. They go out and get their life back again. And I think that, I suppose the drinker at that point is almost jealous of the fact that suddenly they have other things that they're focusing on rather than just being with the drinker. Is this what's happening, do you think?
I think it's a control issue. Yeah. I mean, as a drinker, yes, we do talk about it. This is part of the dance.
Yeah.
You know, the drinker is leading the dance. The partner is there and is reacting to that. And all of a sudden, if I'm reading this correctly, the partner's saying that they're in a good place. They've got their own life, and and they're doing things.
Yeah.
And the drinker is going, I'm not sure about this. I'm not the center of attention anymore. Where are you going, and why are you doing this? And I think it's they're in a powerful place, but the whole point of doing that really is about changing the dance. It's about getting the drinker to wake up. It's about saying, I'm not waiting around for you.
Yeah.
I'm having my own life.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with you, but I want to spend time with a sober person.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then I'm doing this.
Yeah. And I think that for a period, your drinker probably is causing bad vibes and stuff. Actually, basically, they want you to change back to how you were before. And they're kind of slightly swiping you. I think it's really important at this point that you keep your equilibrium and you don't let your drinker spoil what you're doing. And if they do make snipey remarks, you just have to say, well, I'm sorry you find it difficult. There's lots of things that I've found about you and your drinking that are difficult. But I'm going to, find a life of my own, albeit, I'd rather do it with you, and I will do it with you if you change, but I'm not going to let you ruin my life.
Yeah.
So well done for doing it. And don't let your drinkers, because drinkers get very petty, don't they? Particularly if they're drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be really mean when they're drinking. So well done. Don't let your drinker spoil the sense of self that you're getting back. Continue what you're doing. And we hope that he will follow you.
Yeah, I think there's a few words that we really don't like, and one of them is codependent.
Yeah.
And I think this is a case where the drinker would probably like you to be codependent. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That you would be dependent on what they do rather than what you do, and rather than have a life of your own, And it's something that we advocate on a regular basis. Make a life for yourself. Be good to yourself.
Yeah. And don't let him upset you.
That's the drinker's problem. It's not yours.
It is.
It's not yours.
Yeah. So carry on doing what you're doing. And if they're drinking, they will be snide anyway. If you're actually doing your own life, they will be thrown by that and they will be jealous. But that is their issue. That's part of the whole problem. Them and the drink. It makes you very selfish as well as drunk, and just keep doing what you're doing. And, I think that he will follow you. This is what we say, isn't it? That it is sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do, and stop being this nagging kind of what they try to say that you're a nagging woman or you're whatever. So you're taking away actually all of their excuses for their drinking, because a lot of people, when they drink, the people around them are making crosser and crosser noises, and then they turn on that person and then say, oh, you're the reason why I'm drinking, because you're always doing that and you're always doing this. So actually you're taking away some of your drinkers' ammunition, which is another reason why they're cross.
And the other aspect is, look what you're missing.
Let's say some more.
Yeah, look what you're missing. I'm having a good time. You're jealous of my good time. Look what you're missing. Here I am. I've been saying for a long time, I want to spend time with you. Here I am. So
you're doing all the right things, and he's responding in all the wrong ways. Go for it.
But he's responding. He's noticed.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And that notice is good.
Yeah. So we're really proud of you. It's a great problem in a way, because it shows that you're making a huge amount of progress.
Indeed.
Okay. So this one is from Abby. Now, Abby has said, I've stopped going to social functions now because when I do, my husband always embarrasses me and I feel awful. Is this what I should be doing?
No.
We totally understand why you've got there, how you got there, and the response that you've made. But it really hurts me that you've had to do that. And it's something that we talked about a fair bit, haven't we?
Yes, we have. He's not embarrassing you. You are feeling embarrassed, but he's not embarrassing you. He's embarrassing himself.
Can I just say, actually, because I used to feel the same, I used to crawl with embarrassment, because my husband was okay to start off with, and then they'd drink more, and then he'd make inappropriate jokes. And I used to think, oh, everyone's looking at us, and they were. But actually, from my point of view, I was getting all the sympathy in the room, I realised, after a while, because they were looking at him thinking, what a dick, and looking at me thinking, poor woman, really, really, really feel for her. Yeah. So you're actually probably getting all the sympathy in the room. It is not your issue. But it's not a lot of fun, though, doing that, is it? I mean, hanging around with your drunk husband.
No, it's not easy. And I mean, it's like, you love him, and of course you're embarrassed for him and embarrassed for yourself. And so it's understandable that you upset yourself, but it's not the way to go.
I mean, if your husband, what you hope is your husband, your partner, it could be whoever is your significant other. It's more tricky if they arrive drunk, but if they're gradually going to get drunk, for a start, you could just work the room. You don't have to be there with your partner. You can just talk to all your friends. So you can buy a little bit more time for yourself. But I mean, we say when it gets really tricky, you don't have to hang around. In fact, it might be really good to explain to your partner that you're not going to hang around. If he or she gets much worse, then you're going to take a taxi home, and they can come home by themselves. And, we think that's quite important, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I would explain that before you even go. Just say, when you get a hand, I'm off. I'm not staying around. It might be worth, depending how well you know the host or the hostess or whatever, to talk to them as well and say, exactly the same thing. Once things get out of hand, I'm off, and do it that way.
Yeah, and you don't have to pretend, we spend all of our lives trying to keep everything secret. Yeah. It'll be very obvious to the people around, and you can say, look, it's a bit embarrassing. I'm just going to come over here, or I'm going to talk to you, or I'm going to leave now. The sad thing is, though, that if you have this scenario set up too often, the invites don't come, do they? So that it can become a kind of a problem that spirals out of control, which is really sad.
You can socially isolate yourself if you're not careful. And that's not something you should do. You should actually be doing the exact opposite. You should be trying to get more friends, more support, more help. I mean, if he is embarrassing himself, it's not a big secret. You're not exactly keeping it secret anymore.
What you might want to do is actually go out into your own social occasions and not necessarily go with your partner. If you've got kids, maybe leave them with your mother, and just have evenings when you can just relax and go out with your group of your mates, or go to the occasional party where you can enjoy yourself because you're not looking over your shoulder all the time wondering what your partner's going to do next.
Yeah.
We feel really sorry for you that you got this, but don't let his or her problem isolate you any more than you absolutely have to.
That is a big issue with that one, and that's one of the reasons why we called this bottled up in the first place.
Yeah.
Because people sort of retreat and they bottle everything up and they try and keep it secret. But if somebody's going, I repeat, if somebody's going out there and making a fool of themselves in a social situation, it's not a secret. It's not a secret. So you can talk about it to other people.
So I've got time for one more here. Now, this is just a very different issue, but I think really, really important. I've got one from Anna, and saying that my partner is drinking. Should I tell the children what's going on?
What age are the children?
She doesn't say.
If they're two, probably not.
Yeah.
If they're teenagers, then probably talk to them.
Yeah, that's kind of where we've come to bottle up. This is a really, really tough issue, and I really feel for you that you've got to write in, and it is very, very common in this sort of situation. I can tell you what I did. I found when they were little that it was fairly easy to gather them up, take them to bed and things like that. I didn't pretend everything was all right. We know as psychologists that that's really not good for your children. They will pick up the vibes and the atmosphere going on around. But I used euphemisms like your daddy's had a hard day at work, or daddy's not feeling very well at the moment. So that she or both of them, she and he, knew that there was something up, but they didn't have to know what was up. Now, obviously, as my children got older, they began to figure out what was up. And then they asked me questions, and I didn't lie to them. I told them what was going on. In fact, as they got older, we worked on strategies together. And I figured out by then that leaving the drinker and getting out the orbit of the drinker was best for the family. And so we would either go into another room or we would go out. And generally, as I got better at dealing with the situation, I isolated my partner's drinking, and then we would talk and work through strategies. And actually, we worked very hard at making it a really happy time if we could. Sure. So I hope that helps. We really feel for you with the anguish of that. Is there anything else that you want to say?
I think it's really difficult. And I mean, it depends a lot on the age of the children. It depends on the children themselves. Children are not stupid, and they do pick up clues. What you have to be very careful of is that they don't pick up clues that they are the problem.
Yeah, that is absolutely vital to say that.
And
thank you.
Daddy's angry today because it's me, or Mummy's slamming doors and getting, feeling sad and miserable because it's me, and they have to be careful that that's the case, that they don't pick up all of the guilt, because nobody talks about it. And it's something mysterious is going on, and therefore I must be to blame for it. So that's very, very important. The other thing is, don't make the kids your dumping ground. He's like, and all that, so that they have to pick sides. Don't do that either.
No, and I have to say I really, really regret, although what happens to you if you're living with a drinker would try the patience of a saint. So be really kind to yourself. But I wish I hadn't argued in front of my children, because it is really distressing. And I'm a very feelings person, so I would get very distressed, and it would become obvious to them. If you can avoid conflict. Now, I didn't know in the way that I do now to avoid conflict with the drinker, because it escalates things and completely. And I did a lot of remonstrating with my drinker when they were drinking. And again, there's lots and lots of information in our podcasts and how to deal with a drunk.
Yeah, the children are a sensitive area, I must say, but talk to them. Talk to them.
Yeah. And I have to say, with all of these questions and answers, that your journey with your drinker, everyone is different, and people have different reasons for staying. And we never ever want to encourage people that want to go to stay. One of the reasons we did Bottled Up is because the kind of the advice tended to be go. But there's very different stages of drinking with your partner. They may be mildly binging. It's very much a progressive thing, isn't it? And drinking, and so a lot of people that we work with love their drinker, and there's enough in the situation, the liaison or the marriage or whatever, that they feel is worth saving. So we try to help with them and to work through a program where they can look at what's happening and actually stop doing some things and start doing others. But these are strategies for people. People are completely different. So we can't come up with a question and answer with a one size fits all. And you may be sitting there thinking, yes, but, and I may come and listen to you and think you're absolutely right. Because there's so many different ways of looking at this. So this isn't the answer ever. This is a series of answers that may be applicable to your situation.
We kind of try and give you a framework that you can work within. Take what's useful, ignore the rest.
Yeah. But it's lovely to hear your questions. Please keep them coming in.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. And so if you want to send us a question, we're more than happy to look at it.
Okay. Bye-bye then.
Bye.